All right, we are back with another Pick'em video, and we have a massive slate of NBA games today. So going to talk about 4 official video picks. I will add a 5th one in the pinned comment if you get this to 100 likes. If you get it to 300 likes, I'm going to add a 2nd play in the pinned comment as well. We're 1-1 in our pinned comment plays, so definitely go ahead and leave the video a like. Also, comment something down below. It does tell YouTube to push this video out a little bit more when you do that, so I appreciate all the comments. I appreciate all the likes. And let's hop into the recap of yesterday, because it was an awesome day. We went to all overs yesterday, and we had 2 overtime games, 1 double overtime game, so that boded pretty well for us. But yeah, let's hop into the recap. And then we'll talk about some plays. So quick recap of the video picks from yesterday. I do this every video, not just because we won, but we had an awesome day. First off was Aaron Nesmith's rebounds. He didn't do much of anything. He didn't play any of the overtime. He didn't play down the stretch. He only played like 27 minutes, but he still cashed his rebounds line, which is exactly what we were attacking. We laddered it. We had half a unit, or 7.75 units on the 3.5 rebounds at -130. He crushed that. The 4.5, the 5.5, he also hit. He almost got the 7.5, which is a plus 900, but we only have 0.1 units on it anyway. So easy cashes there. Again, I wish he got down the stretch, especially after a couple of guys fouled out. Mathurin fouled out. Someone else fouled out too. I thought he was going to get in, maybe grab another rebound, but he didn't. But we'll take the ladder up to 3 of the 4 ladder pieces. Then we had Ben Mathurin over 18.5 points. He doubled that, 36 points, practically had 40. I don't know what's going on in the NBA. We've had the most 40 bombs in the first 2 to 3 days of the NBA season I've ever seen. We also have 2 50 pieces to talk about. One of those 50 pieces, Aaron Gordon, the guy who had over 14.5. We took for plus money. When I saw the plus money on that line, I was like, what the heck is going on? And he had 50. He shot 10 of 11 from 3. He had an awesome game overall. So obviously a really good read there for some plus money. I don't always just attack these -130 plays. Typically, you're going to see me around -115, maybe -120. But I'll throw in some plus money if I see the value on it for sure. Definitely not afraid of that. And then the last play we talked about was Aaron Wiggins over his 12.5 points. He had 23. So literally every single play we went to crushed their normal line. The only thing we technically missed was the plus 900 play on the Aaron Nesmith rebound, and he hooked on that. So every single play we talked about absolutely crushed. Practically doubled up on every single guy. Mathurin had 36, Aaron Wiggins had 23, Aaron Gordon had 50, and Nesmith had 7 boards. So really, really good reads early on in the season. You love to see that. That's a good sign for what's to come throughout the season. That is awesome to see. The last thing I want to mention here, doing the recap before we actually hop into the plays here, is the fact that a lot of the lines I give out typically move, because I typically have pretty good reads, and the lines are usually going to move. None of these really moved. Aaron Nesmith, I think you get all this for plus money anyway. Ben Mathurin was around 18.5 points, and then the plus money at 14.5 for Aaron Gordon was there throughout the entire day as well. The only one that did move, when it was part of the reason we went to Aaron Wiggins, was the opportunity that Case and Wallace might get ruled out. When he got ruled out, I think his line jumped all the way up to 15 or 16.5. But obviously, you're playing that as a good play. You can't tell when the injury report's going to come out. I think Case and Wallace got ruled out about 2 or 3 hours after I posted the video. So hopefully you guys got that early value. And even if you didn't, you still cashed it because he had 23 points. So really, really solid day. Again, we do the recap every time. I don't care if I have a losing day or a winning day. It happened to be a winning day today. So again, let's hop into plays today. Obviously pumped up about this one. So hop into Props Madness like we typically do here. This is the research tool I use for a lot of my player props. They have so many different filters and a ton of different information. This is just going to get better and better as the season progresses, and we get more data points throughout how players play, or how teams play defense, and how players are doing and where they're shooting from and things like that. And Props Madness is awesome. They have a link in the description down below if you want to try them out for 25% off your first month. That link does that. So if you click that link, it lets them know that I sent you there, but you also get 25% off your first month. So definitely check out Props Madness. And I was looking at this Warriors game, obviously coming off an overtime win. They're probably pretty pumped up, but they might be a little bit tired here. But I'm seeing them going up against the Portland Trailblazers, and I'm seeing -110 on the money line. Typically, I'm doing player props on this channel, but just wanted to point this one out. I don't know if this is going to be an official video pick, but just something I saw that I thought was interesting. I think the Blazers are going to be a really scrappy team this year. They took the Timberwolves pretty much all the way to the end of the game until Anthony Edwards kind of went crazy there at the end to win it for the Timberwolves. But yeah, just wanted to point out Warriors -110 right now on FanDuel. That's looking like a pretty good price for a team that's, I think, better overall. I think the reason it's going to be more of like a 50-50 pick 'em in this game is the fact that they're coming off a overtime win last night. It's a back-to-back for them, but currently no one really on the injury report. I wouldn't be surprised at all if someone comes up as questionable, even if someone misses this game. But as long as it's not Steph Curry or Jimmy Butler, I think they're in a pretty good shape here to cover to cover this win. They don't have to cover anything, just get the win. And again, FanDuel laying minus 110. I'd probably play this up to minus 115, maybe nothing crazy after that, but it's available pretty much everywhere at minus 110 to minus 115 as of right now. So just wanted to point that off to start the video. And that plays right into our first pick of the video, our first official pick here, and it's going to be Jonathan Kuminga over 16.5 points over minus 105 on BetMGM. All the things I just said about the Warriors potentially winning this game. I think they're going to win this game at a pretty good price on the money line. Goes into this play as well, and kind of the same thing I said is they are coming off an overtime game. If someone does come up in the injury report, that's going to bode well for a guy like Jonathan Kuminga. But again, that might not happen. If everyone plays, I still think Jonathan Kuminga can get here. But if someone gets ruled out, kind of like yesterday, Case and Wallace getting ruled out, this line might jump up a little bit. And the main thing I want to look at here is Kuminga. Obviously the summer was kind of weird. There was like a holdout. They didn't want to sign. He didn't want to sign for less money. The Warriors didn't want to pay him more money. But he did get it done, and now he's playing a lot of minutes for this team. So he's played 2 games already. This will be the 3rd game of the season. And he played 33 minutes. He played 36 minutes in the overtime. He's projected for probably around 30 minutes. I didn't actually check the projected minutes. He's projected for 26 minutes right now, but again, coming off the overtime win, they've already played. This is their 3rd game of the season. I think that's going to be the most for anyone right now. I wouldn't be surprised if someone gets ruled out here. So projected for 26 minutes, I think he might get more, but even in games he's seeing 26 plus minutes, the hit rate in this line is obviously ridiculous. So let's go to 26 plus minutes. He's over this in 72% of games. If you go to games with Steph Curry, so this is games that he's playing a lot of minutes with Steph in the lineup, over in 60%. And if someone gets ruled out and he gets a little bit more time, let's say 30 plus minutes, he's over this. This is with Steph Curry again, over this in 6-6 games. A lot of these games are getting 20 points or more, averaging 23 on this line. So 16.5 just seems a little bit too low for me. This is another one where I'm like, I feel like I'm getting a pretty good price at minus 105. If someone gets ruled out and this jumps up, I'd probably still attack it. Definitely comment something down below if it does happen. If you're wondering, I'll give you my take on that. But I think Jonathan Kuminga in a really good spot here. We know he can score the ball, and he's looked really good, and they're giving him a lot of playing time. He can get played off the court sometimes. I don't think that's going to be an issue today. And again, I just talked about the money line lean, but maybe if someone gets ruled out, again, like a Jimmy Butler, or I know Al Horford's not playing in this game because it's a back-to-back. I think he's going to get a little bit more time in the court than the 26 minutes projected. So really like this spot for Jonathan Kuminga. He's going to be the first play of the video. And going up against the Blazers, I didn't see how he played against them last year. Didn't play in any of those. Let's see his head-to-head. Didn't play very well, but only 20 minutes and 17 minutes. Obviously, totally different player this year with the opportunity he's getting, but wanted to point that out. I'm not going to just only point out the good stuff. And then this is their defense last year. Trailblazers, totally different team, but transition, one of Kuminga's best spots to score the ball. They're ranked 24th in that. So really like what I'm seeing from Jonathan Kuminga, especially with the added time he might get tonight and the potential for some injury news to pop up later in the day. Another thing I totally forgot to mention is the fact that the Blazers coach literally just got arrested, Chauncey Billups, jail. Now you bring in Tiago Splitter, who I didn't even know was a coach, to be totally honest. So they might be, a little bit of growing pains here, which is another, good potential for this money line for the Warriors, even if someone gets ruled out. Another guy I am looking at is going to be Brandon Bajemski because of those same reasons. 1.5 threes, maybe the team is not set up defensively like they should be under Tiago Splitter. And minus 130, a little bit of juice here. This is just going to be a lean. I don't want to put all my chips in one basket with one game, especially a team coming off an overtime game yesterday, back-to-back situation. But I do think if anyone's going to get a boost, it's going to be guys like Jonathan Kuminga, like Brandon Bajemski, these younger dudes. The Warriors are an older team. If someone gets ruled out, it's probably going to be one of these older dudes, and these guys are going to have more opportunity here. So minus 130, I don't think is enough juice here to not look at this Brandon Bajemski line over 1.5 three-pointers made. Just wanted to point that out. But moving away from the Warriors, there's a lot of Warriors talk. We're going to go to Bam Adebayo here at 18.5 points. Obviously, the number one thing is Tyler Hero is going to be out of this game. He's going to be out for the beginning of the season. But 18.5 points, Bam had a pretty mediocre game the first game of the season. That was against the Orlando Magic, who are a really good defensive team, especially for a guy like Bam Adebayo. They frame up against him pretty well. He shot 4 of 13, did get to the free throw line, and made 6 of 7 free throws, did make a three-pointer as well, but still had 15 points in a pretty bad game. Now he gets a much easier matchup against the Grizzlies for how his skill set lines up. They last year were ranked 24th in pick and roll big man, spot up, which I don't think 14% of his shots come from spot up, probably mid range, 18th ranked there, and then free throws. They give up a lot of free throws. We just saw Bam go to the free throw line a whole bunch. He had 29 of those things. I do like to see the Grizzlies had a game already. Obviously, we have some data to look at. And Zion Williamson played 33 minutes. He had 27 points in that game and did get to the free throw line a decent amount. If you were going to compare Bam to one of the guys on the Pelicans, they're not the exact same, but I'd probably say Zion. So good to see Zion did have a pretty good game here. And again, looking at the price, minus 101 right now over on DraftKings. So we're not even paying any juice here for an 18.5 line. I think Bam's in a pretty good spot here to score some points, and that just gives us an added extra juice that Tyler Hero's not there to take away from that scoring. Davion Mitchell looking like a pretty good facilitator. Obviously now his first full season with the Heat, and if he's someone that can set Bam up throughout the season, that's in a pretty good spot for us. So yeah, liking Bam here. We can see the projected minutes for this game and any sort of injury news, but I don't think there's anything too crazy to look at. Obviously, Hero's the one that's out. Terry Rozier, another guy, jail. So that we don't have to worry about Terry stealing some of his shots. Norman Powell had an amazing game that first game too. He's going to be the most volume shooter for this team. But I think this is a good spot for Bam to go up against Jacques Longdale, and Jaren Jackson Jr. obviously a big defensive player, but he moves into that power forward position. Jaren's going to be probably playing Bam a lot of the time, but he's had pretty good games against them overall. We'll look at last year. I think he had 18 points and 26 points, so pretty good games overall. Hero was in both of these games, and I think Bam's going to be one of the main factors in offense for this Heat team. If Norman Powell doesn't go out and score 30 again or whatever he had, maybe Bam picks up some of that slack. So I think he's in a good spot. I really like the matchup looking at the data from last year, and yeah, I like what I'm seeing here, especially at the price we're getting at minus 101. Moving into our first under of the video, it's going to be Stephon Castle, and I'm looking at his assist line at 6.5. We're paying minus 125 juice, nothing too crazy. Again, it's not like this line's minus 150. I'd probably stay away from it, honestly, if it was minus 150, because there is a lot of bad when you think about this matchup for Stephon Castle. It's a Pelicans team that gave up a whole lot of assists last year. He also played these guys twice last year, and in the game that he got the most minutes, pretty much, 36 minutes, he did have 7 assists, but 12 potential assists. If I think you need 7 assists in a game, I'd like to see around 14 potential assists. So it seems like he can get there, but I think it's more likely he stays under. Obviously, we're not going to see games he's playing 12 minutes unless injury happens. You don't want to think about an injury happening for anyone. But he did play also 34 minutes here, only had 4 assists, but he's become more of a facilitator. Obviously, Chris Paul's not on this team. There's no De'Aaron Fox on this team. But yeah, I like the potential for an under here. He did stay under in a pretty good offensive game that you can get. What'd they win that? They won that game by 33 points. They put up like 140 points on him. So a lot of offense in that first game. Did only play 29 minutes because of the blowout, but he did stay under this with 11 potential assists. Again, I'd like to see that line, that number be a little bit higher. And it's a weaker Pelicans matchup, but looking at what happened last year, this is his assist chart. This is the assist chart from this season. And looking at the box score for the Grizzlies, that's the team that went up against the Pelicans in that first game. No one had more than 4 assists. Jaden Wells had 4 assists, and then Morant had 3 assists, and KCP had 3 assists. No one else had any assists. So there was not a lot of assists to go around. That was a game that the Grizzlies put up 128 points. So that's a good data point for this season at least. And even dating back to last year, again, these are last year's numbers, but not a lot of guys that play similarly to a guy like Stephon Castle were going over their assist line. Maybe end of the year, different type of team, but not a lot of guys going over their assist line, which I do like to see. Then you look over the season assist chart. This is, again, last year's data. And Castle gets most of his assists right at the rim, gets a lot of his assists from the three-point line. But I just don't know if he's a guy that should have an assist line at 6.5. If this was 5.5, that's a different story. But yeah, 6.5 for minus 125. I don't think that's too much juice to pay. Maybe Stephon Castle becomes a really good facilitator this year. If you look at the projected minutes, he's projected right now for 32 minutes. But he's not the point guard of this team. Wemby definitely has the ball in his hands a lot. Vassell could distribute a little bit. Even Dylan Harper coming off the bench is a pretty good distributor. So I think this line's just a little bit too high. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that paying minus 125 is not too bad on a guy that doesn't usually hit this line very often. Seemingly a bad matchup for him, but again, we just saw the Grizzlies not get many assists against this new look Pelicans team. So teams look different. It's not going to be just based off last year, which we can see this. But yeah, I think this is just a little bit too high, and I don't mind paying minus 125. If this goes to 5.5 and you can get some plus money, maybe still play it. But if this goes to 6.5, stays at 6.5, and you're paying a lot of juice, this might be one I stay away from. But at minus 125, minus 130, I think I'd definitely consider it. And then moving into our final play here, we're going to try to chase some plus money at plus 103 right now. Derek White over 4.5 assists going up against the New York Knicks. Now let's talk about the first game. He did have 4 assists on 9 potentials. A lot of misses from the Celtics, so their offense kind of went stagnant. The defense wasn't looking amazing either, so we could see a higher scoring game here going up against the Knicks. But yeah, I like what I see from Derek White, especially in preseason. I was watching those games, and he was looking like a really, really good facilitator. He had a 10 assist game in 27 minutes. Again, this is preseason. Take it with a grain of salt. He had 5 assists in a 22-minute effort, 6 assists here, and then had 4 assists as well. So assisting wise, he was really, really distributing the ball. This is a totally new look Celtics team without Jason Tatum, without Kristaps Porzingis, without Drew Holiday, and even just looking at the games last year without Tatum and without Drew Holiday, I think that would be the better one to take out here for a guy like Derek White. There was only 2 games. He had an 11 assist game with 19 potentials, really took on that facilitating role, and then he had 2 assists only in an overtime, or not an overtime, a 39-minute game against the Trailblazers. But I like to see the Pistons are a scrappy team. This is a team in the East. This is a team that's more of a rivalry type thing. Derek White consistently steps up in these situations. So seeing a 4.5 assist line for plus money, I think that's a really good spot for him. Again, I was at that Celtics game, the first game of the year. Derek White was very aggressive with the shot. He shot a whole bunch of shots. He made a lot of shots, but he was also, trying to distribute the ball. The Celtics just were not shooting very well at all. A lot of missed open threes that I think he could potentially capitalize on today. But yeah, I'm liking this 4.5 spot for Derek White. In terms of head-to-head, he did play these guys a few times in the season and looked pretty good. These are playoff games, so again, those are a little bit better defensively. Those are, a lot more Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown usage rate. But in the regular season, he was a pretty good distributor against this team. Hooked a few times, but also had really good distributing numbers. Again, he's a guy that really steps up in these situations. He probably takes a lot of pride with having a lot more usage rate this season, at least at the beginning without Tatum. And he was a really, really aggressive player in that first game. Maybe he distributes a little bit more today. So again, taking some plus money at 4.5, I think this is a really good spot. I think he could potentially crush this line too. Potentially a ladder challenge like we kind of did, or not ladder challenge, a ladder opportunity like we did with the Neesmith rebounds line. You'll get really good plus money if you take this at like 5.5. But yeah, 4.5 is going to be the official play. Trying to get some plus money here for Derek White against the Knicks tonight. So that's going to do it for us in the video picks. Stay tuned. In a little bit, I'm going to give you guys a DFS slip that you guys can tail, but this is a recap of what we talked about in this one. Jonathan Kuminga over his 16.5 points. We talked about Bam Adebayo also over some points at 18.5. We did take an under today. Stephon Castle under 6.5 assists. Derek White over 4.5 assists for some plus money. And then I'm going to count this as official video pick. I don't do money lines and spreads very often, but I do think this is a pretty good spot, minus 110. Again, don't be scared if someone pops up on the injury report today for the Warriors. That will be a good thing for, honestly, for our Jonathan Kuminga pick. But for the Warriors money line going up against a team that just lost their head coach, also that's not just losing your head coach. That's like maybe like a mental strain on a lot of different players. Maybe they go out and maybe you could argue that, they're going to go out and play for him. But yeah, he just got arrested by the FBI. So there might be some weird stuff going on for the Trailblazers. I'm going to count that as an official video pick as well. So talked about 5 official video picks. And to be totally honest, I might add Brandon Podziemski. I'll update the pinned comment if I take Podziemski's 1.5 3-point line as an official video pick. That was another one we talked about. I just like a lot of the fringe players, the guys, the role players on the Warriors, potentially getting some opportunity here. Again, I'm just thinking about that injury report potentially updating. And even if there's no injuries, I do like this Kuminga line. I do like the Podziemski line to get to knock down 2 threes in an opportunity where the Blazers might be in shambles here. So yeah, that's going to do it for the official video picks. And now I'm going to cook up a DFS parlay that you guys can tail for some plus money. So jumping over to Underdog, I just cooked up a 5-man parlay. This is going to be for a 10x. Also, if you go 4 for 5, you still win some money. And Underdog's been running this. It's called Boost Over, and they've been giving us discounts every single day. They also do this even when it's not October. If you want to check out Underdog and you're not already on there, use code RICHPICKS or the link in the description down below. You get, I think it's play $5 and get $100 in your account. It's literally insane. That's $95 free dollars. So definitely take advantage of that. You want to be on multiple different platforms. They always throw out these different, boosts and things like that. But also, if you're not on there, they give you free money. So might as well check it out. Again, code RICHPICKS in the description down below. But this is what we got going on. We got Donovan Clingan over 9.5 rebounds. Apparently, I cannot stay away from this Golden State-Portland game. Then I got some baseball. I'm not going to be able to make this, apparently, because I'm traveling to visit my sister in Maine right now. I'm really close to the New Hampshire border, so I'm going to have to go over to the New Hampshire border to actually include Davis Schneider. But I think 1.5 strikeouts here for a guy that might not even get 4 at-bats is pretty high. Davis Schneider, if you get 2 strikeouts and you only get three, 4 at bats. You're kind of a bum here. This is a World Series. Don't strike out. Then I got Paolo Banchero to score some points against the Hawks, who we know people like to score some points against, over 24.5 points. I took Amin Thompson to have a good game against his brother. He cramped up last game, did not play very well. Maybe comes out a little aggressive, grabs some boards, gets some assists, 11.5 for him. And then I did have a 5th pick here, but they bumped it on me. It was Michael Porter Jr. over his 5.5 rebounds. I think he's a better rebounder than that. But yeah, this is the 4-pick entry. If you run the 4-pick entry, run it as a 4-man flex play. That's one of the more optimal plays on Underdog. That means if you get 4 for 4, you're going to win 6x. And even if you go 3 for 4, you're going to still win 1.5x. So Underdog is really, really cool. Again, if you're not on it already, check it out using my link in the description down below, or use code RICHPICKS. It lets them know that I sent you there and kicks back a little bit my way. But I really, really like this parlay I cooked up for you guys. I wish I could tail it, but again, in Maine, apparently you can't tail anything. But I can go to the New Hampshire border in like 10 minutes. So that'll do it for me in this one. Thank you for watching. Again, if you get to 100 likes, I'll add another play in the pinned comment. If you get to 300 likes, I'll add a second added play in the pinned comment. We talked about 5 official video picks. Honestly, 5.5. I really like that Brandon Bajemski play over the 1.5 3-pointers made. But yeah, that's gonna do it for me. Thanks for watching. Check out all links in the description down below. If you're interested in Props Madness, that was a tool I was using all throughout. Link in the description down below for 25% off your first month. And definitely check out Underdog. They're giving away 95 free dollars. You play 5, you get 100. It's as easy as that. Definitely take advantage of those sign-up promos. I know some people are like, I don't want to sign up for another book. It's 95 free dollars, and they got really good plays. They got really good boosts all throughout October, and even beyond October, they give out boosts all the time. So definitely check out Underdog as well. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Hopefully you have another really good day. 4-0 sweep, nothing feels better than that. Let's try to do it again with a 5-0 sweep. Peace out.